Welcome to Backstage with the Simple Church podcast.
Hey, that's awesome.
On a Tuesday.
I had to pitch you down the other day.
Did
For
you?
who?
You.
Oh.
Oh, I'll go higher.
Yo, you were off key.
Oh. I'll probably blow my trachea.
They
It's
didn't
a little
even
hard to hear.
You auto-tuned him?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the good news
Give
is
'em a little
you have
love.
technology you can do that, and I might need that come February 8th.
Hey.
Oh, buddy.
Little teaser. Welcome to Backstage with the Simple Church
Yeah.
podcast. If you're watching on Facebook, we're normally on Mondays. MLK Day yesterday, got to celebrate the holiday. So now we're recording on a Tuesday. If you're listening to the audio version, we'd love for you to join us live every Monday on the Facebook Live. We're here at Justin Haigler, Pastor Josh Mitchell, co-host,
Reverend.
and Jordan. Full house, first time.
Hey,
Hey,
you're not reverend yet.
You're on the process.
Soon to be reverend.
Process.
Yeah.
Don't get ahead of your horses there.
He's getting licensed. I feel like I'm kind of muted today, but anyway, but licensed on let's see, February 22nd. Yeah.
That's exciting.
So we're gonna be right there, baby.
That's right. Serving in the middle school ministry, taking care
Yeah.
of students, preaching, getting ready to do some baptism. We're talking about trying to figure out for one of his students.
Okay.
You
Josh,
can't.
do
You
it
know.
all.
You know how
You
you
hear
become a
yourself now?
reverend,
Yeah.
right?
All right. Huh?
You got to get in that river.
That river. What
The
river?
Jordan River?
That one right there.
Absolutely not.
You got to get up in that river.
Hey man, we went to Camp Fuego last summer, and they some of them kids wanted to get baptized, and they were talking about getting in that little pond thing they got out there. I was like,
You told him no.
listen,
You
I
withheld somebody from the kingdom.
Yeah, I might.
they got a swimming pool out there. We can do it in the pool. This ain't getting in.
And to reference that, you got to watch live on video.
I think what he's saying is a brother ain't gonna get down in that pond.
Hey, can I
He
get
said-
an amen?
Amen, brother.
He said, "I'm gonna go get a cup and splash it on your head."
What
Be
is
Catholic.
He's about to spit his drink out.
He did. We got a spit take.
what is so funny?
We already got the clip for the podcast today.
Oh, he just said this ain't getting in that water. Hey, so let's go there for a minute.
Oh
All right?
man,
Not where we thought we were going, but now we
No,
found
but
somewhere.
look,
yeah.
all right. So, is it the fact you can't? That's what I've heard from other brothers. Is that you can't see the bottom and you ain't comfortable if you can't see the bottom, or is it because of the snakes in there? Because I'm in the same cat. I don't like snakes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a big part of it. Now, in my younger years, back when I was in high school, we used to go to. So I lived in Kansas for a couple of years. For people that don't know, we'd go to the Lake of the Ozarks. People
Right.
have lake houses and stuff down there. We'd go down there or whatever, and I'd get in that lake all the time and stuff. And I saw a water moccasin once,
Oh, I'm.
and I said, "Never again."
Why'd it have to be snakes?
I can tell you. So we live out there close to the lake. All right, across the street from it. We used to walk my dog out there, and I've seen water moccasins out like just in general. But one night we're walking the dog. Well, I see this like movement out of the corner of my eye, and I got my dog. And I'm trying to not let him. He loved to get in the water and swim, and he'd come out, and it was right on the edge. There was a water moccasin trying to eat a brim. The brim was 3-4 times its size. And that joker was working that thing over, and I was like, no, sir.
You walked into a National
Nah.
Geographic documentary.
Dude, I'm just telling you, I was like,
David Attenborough
there
was.
is no way. Like, when you see that thing, and he couldn't get it. I mean, he wasn't going to get it in his gullet. I mean, it didn't matter how hard he worked. He had to give up. But he was trying, son, and that is a just horrific sight to see. That water moccasin, I mean, he's big, man. And I said, no, sir. No,
Yeah,
no.
man. They, see, my kids, they know dad's big and bad, ain't scared of nothing, yada, yada, yada. They know snakes and spiders dad don't do.
Spiders don't bug me none.
Mm-mm.
A snake, though, it's just something about it. I ain't down with no snakes.
You and
I'll
Indiana
rock with
Jones.
that.
All right, well, we got why
But there you
Josh
go.
doesn't like the lake. We got snakes.
He's like a cat.
That's a podcast. I'll see y'all next week.
Hey,
Peace.
thanks for joining us. If you aren't watching live, you missed a spit take.
We got a spit take.
Hey, Kruger, I'm sure this is what you tuned in for.
Yeah, this is
today.
what he came for.
That's
Right
what he wants. Oh, man. Well, we are glad you're here. Thanks for listening. We're in a hater series. So if you're hating on the podcast already.
here. Hating on snakes.
No, they
didn't
can't
get
be
it.
hating on it
No
already.
hating. That's right. Matt Sanders, Nothing But Love, said, congrats, Josh. Tina
Yeah.
watching said she's in Houghton and they had a snake in their pool last summer.
Yeah, like I'm not down with snakes, man. And maybe it goes back to the garden. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Let's take
There
it
we
back
go.
to.
Let's take it back.
I mean, but I don't. Something about it, man. Just I don't.
I'm not a fan.
No, and then one bit my dog back in the day.
I
It was
remember
big old
that.
copperhead, and when I held him up, he was over half of my body as a copperhead. Copperheads don't get that big, but I remember I was so mad it didn't matter. I was just gonna take him out.
Protect your
But
family.
it's still spooky, man. I had a gun, he had nothing, but he was gonna lose. But still, it was like I don't know.
You
I
didn't
felt-
like it.
I didn't like the odds.
I'll
It
give you
didn't matter.
My favorite snake story. The neighbors across the street from us, they probably don't listen. They're a little different. They invited. They're special. Ask
Let's
Josh's
hope they
wife
don't
sometime.
listen.
That's right. We are
Don't
trying to
tell
be
them
good
where you
neighbors.
live and
We're
don't give me
trying to be
address.
neighbors.
Don't be a hater.
They're
now.
different. I'm about to tell you why here in a minute. So they have a birthday
man.
party for their daughter on Father's Day afternoon.
It's weird.
So my gift, I didn't have to go.
Yeah.
Mallory took my 2 kids. They're playing in their backyard.
Thank
The
God.
dad comes out at one point. He's like, y'all want to see the snake? And at a 3-year-old birthday party, brings out a boa constrictor around his neck and walks around and lets all the kids pet the snake.
My father-in-law had one at school. That thing was massive.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mallory said that was it. We were going home.
Okay, neighbor Stockwell story back
All
to
right, come on.
snakes.
Got something
Mark
I
is my neighbor.
Yep.
Okay, so one night I'm sitting there. We're living in Stockwell, and I'm in
Now
there
you told
watching
him where my
TV.
neighbor is.
And Mark's going, "Hey, I need some help. I can hear some screaming." I come out there, and you have them mud swallows. That's the ones that get up on your porch.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know, they make their little
Hang.
nest, but they put their eggs in there. There's one thing that loves those eggs, and that's them big old rat snakes. Dude, they're long, big around, and they're not poisonous, but you have to look at their eyeballs to know if a snake's poisonous. Did you know that?
Did not know
I
that.
never
See, we
get
learned
close
something
enough
today.
to find
All right,
out.
so circular. So look, circular is non-venomous. Slit venomous.
Interesting. Okay.
So if you ever look at one, you can
Get
look
close.
at their eye. You
Yeah,
gotta get
Josh,
close.
go look at it.
Hey, as bad as my eyes are right now, I had to get real close. But so anyway, so he was like, "What are we gonna do?" Well, I grabbed that. Man, you ain't
Was
never.
it in his house?
Oh yeah,
Was it king snake?
No, it's a rat snake.
Oh,
You ain't
So it's
listening.
them big old black. They basically they're called them a rat snake. I don't know what. There may be a formal name, but they eat them eggs. If there's a nest or whatever, they climb up in there and eat them mud swallows. And Mark came out there and he was like, and it was huge. I mean, easily 6 foot long. I mean, they're just long and man, when it starts spinning and doing all that stuff, and I just grabbed that thing, he was like, "Dude, you're the neighbor." I was like,
Would have been a for sale sign in that house by 5 o'clock.
Josh would have left him to die.
Yeah,
That's it. A columbrane snake is
I
the
don't
official
know.
name. They're the constrictor family.
yeah. So
But they are rat snakes.
Yeah, so this is you don't want to get into all that. So let's
Get
get
into
on back
science.
into
Get
haters.
away
So-
from snakes, man.
Yeah.
Haters, another great week of it. People are really loving the series again. It might be because you asked them to be positive. They're being more positive than ever.
Man,
They're
I'm thankful.
trying to go.
Hey,
a lot
I
of
just,
good feedback.
Okay, let's go into that for now. I just left
Sure.
the prayer breakfast, the mayor's prayer breakfast. They asked me to speak this year, and what I told them, it not in a message, but it may come in a message later. But I had this thought because in a culture or a community or a city or a whatever nation, you could go to a house, is the negativity can literally cripple you. So, like, if you're always negative to your kids, or you're always negative to your spouse, or you're always negative to your coworkers, it could go to your work. If you're always negative about your city, or the problem is you don't really realize it, but then it just begins to you don't want to do anything. You don't. Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, or whatever. So we were talking about, because it's all the cool thing about the mayor's prayer breakfast is Tommy asked me to come in there. Is it's everybody, all denominations, all colors, all occupations, all parties. I mean, they're all just together in this thing. And that's what I was telling them was like, how cool is it when and if we could all come together and use our words to uplift and to build our communities as opposed to tear them apart. Well, so many people came up afterwards, different people, different cultures, different colors, different backgrounds, different occupations, all saying, man, yes, yes, yes. And then it's easy to say it because the preachers preach, I mean, whatever, but then to do it is the hard part. And that's where I go back to, but if we do, immediately the room changes, the community changes, like the environment changes. It's like, so that's why, words are powerful, and I'm guilty, just like everybody else, of not doing that well, depending on the day, depending on the time or whatever. But we had 2 officers shot in the line of duty in Bossier, September 14th of 2025. Thank God they lived, but they were there today to be recognized. And it's what's funny is like we can talk negative about whether it be a police interaction or whatever, but then when you realize that they were going in to save someone they didn't know, okay, and then almost died themselves, then they're heroes. They're still the same people. If they pulled you over or if they're going in to save, it's just like we get in our own minds. So I try to tell everybody, it's like, whether it's a first responder, a nurse, a teacher, anybody who's serving the public, is like, just speak positive. And trust me, even if they're doing their job, you never know what that person is needing that day and what your words can do. It could be a server. It could be, you don't know if their mom's going through cancer. You just don't know. So, like, being careful with your words and finding ways to uplift. And we're all guilty depending on what's going on.
And let's be honest, being negative doesn't help anything.
That's what I was going to say. And I told them.
Never makes it better.
No, and I told them, I said, like, as the chaplain role, so, like, you go into these circumstances, they're dark days. It's something that's bad happened, a death, a tragic death, whatever's going to go on. And I said, but just in the talk today, I said, no, just imagine, though. It's bad. Imagine when I show up, if I went negative. Like, you're hoping I don't. You're like, what if I went, oh, my God, yep, there ain't no hope for this. I mean, y'all are, it's over. Yeah. Man, sorry. I can't even pray for it. I don't even know what to say about it. You would go like, what are you doing here? Well, we all have that same power to bring light, encouragement to whatever the situation may be. It's just not always that easy, but it's a choice. And that was what's cool, is that you get to see people working through that and trying to figure that out. And again, I'm not an expert. I don't get it right a lot. I can find myself going negative the same way, but it's like you're trying to go, all right, Lord, help us, to do it the right way.
Crazy. 'Cause in my job, I have the privilege of, like, we hire contractors, right? So if I don't like somebody, I just don't bring them back. If I like them, I bring them back all the time.
Right.
But, like, we've had a few guys over the past year that were just negative all the time. And I talked to them one time about it, and then if it just kept on, we just don't bring them back. And, like, the whole vibe is completely different. Like, it's so crazy how the whole crew is just like, man, I'm glad you didn't bring so-and-so back. Like, everybody. You know what I mean?
And they appreciate it, even if they didn't say it at the time.
Right, exactly.
They notice later.
Yeah, totally.
Because I just think about the example of the server. Like, going out to church on Sundays, we've had servers that we've talked to and got to know over the years, like, they hate working Sunday afternoons.
Yeah.
And what an indictment of us as Christians that the people leaving church are the groups that they hate and least want to serve and help, and how we treat them. And if your server's slow, if it's busy, it never makes it better. But you make a comment or mouth off or not tip. And
who hadn't been there?
Oh, yeah, sure.
And that's where I go back, and you're right. It's like, it's a discipline. All I'm saying, just what you're saying, we should discipline ourselves to go, I can have a chance to make this better.
So, like, anytime we take groups of volunteers out, I try to tip well, be positive, and do it because you're representing Christ. And that group, they know after church you're coming as a group and trying to do that. And we don't always do that well and try to be mindful of it.
Haters are going to hate.
Well, one way they could tune you up on that serving spot is if you go on the other side and you are the server. I will learn that quick.
That's right. Where were you a server?
Mimi's Cafe.
Nice.
Now, where's that at?
We don't have them
Not
around
near the
here.
water. Sorry.
That was a hater comment.
I think that is definitely a hater. We ain't even got it out of him yet.
That was funny.
I'm back.
What was Mimi? Is it like a home
to
cooking?
fire yourself.
Yeah, kind of like
I've heard of it, but I don't have
Cracker Barrel across with like a brunch spot kind of deal or whatever. But worked there my freshman year of college for.
Do you have some bad customer interactions?
Yeah. That's for Justin After Dark. We'll say that for another podcast.
Yeah, that's right. Working at Counterculture, people were always pretty nice, but you always had some rude people, messed up stuff.
And then I guess that's what I was saying is like even then the server has a choice to be nice.
Correct, absolutely, and they have a responsibility themselves.
And then you kind of go back and go, man, by being rude back, am I going to make it better or not? And it's tough. I mean, the truth is everybody understands every day is different. Sometimes it's your wife, sometimes it's your kids, sometimes it's a server, sometimes it's a coworker, and you got to give them that grace to be able to handle it. But boy, it's tough out there if you're taking it and literally going through bad circumstance after situation. I mean, and police officers like Greg came by this morning. He was, they've had a rough week in Shreveport doing different call outs and all that stuff, and you can just tell, man, if it's event after event after event, it just knocks you down. It's hard to get back up to be ready for, being loving or encouraging or helpful when you're going through all that. So here's to all those out there taking it for the team right now.
Thank you.
First responders, nurses, teachers, thank y'all.
Absolutely. Well, that kind of gets into a verse I wanted to talk about from yesterday because I think this was an interesting point that stuck out to me. When you go to preach, when you're planning it out, you use different translations.
See, senor.
And this is something where it's kind of in the backstage look, the idea, and went and pulled this verse. So it's James 1:22, and you chose the NLV. Don't just listen to God's word. You must do what it says. Otherwise, you are only fooling yourself. and you left that second part off.
Right.
You didn't even get to that part of it, but I just pulled the whole thing because when you go and look at it in other translations, it's not as clear and distinct. So the King James I pulled up just so you go.
Yeah, this is good.
But be ye doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. And then even the ESVs, be doers of the word and not hearers only, but deceiving yourself. But the one you picked, and I think this is a God thing, I think you work hard at this, is trying to find a translation when you read the Bible. It's like, I don't understand. I don't know where to start. I don't know where to do it. Find the one that works for you that makes sense, because don't just listen to God's word. All of us can relate to that.
Oh, yeah.
All of us hear things and then don't do it.
Well, yeah, the best part about this generation in technology is when I started, so like Josh is new, you're going in, you're getting licensed and all that stuff. And I remember when I started, you had to have a Bible, physical, of every translation because there was no way to do it any other way.
Couldn't search
So
the
you
internet.
had, and whatever was available. So you went to the Baptist bookstore or Lifeway or Christian Life Tapes and Books. These were all local stores. And you would have to save your money and go, I need an NLT, I need an NIV, New Living Translation, New International Version, a King James Version. And that was about all you could really get. There was only 3 or 4. Then there was English Standard Version, ESV.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what I would do back then is whether I knew the verse, so it's like if you're preparing or something you kind of knew, but you couldn't search very good because it is your own ability to read it all or be looking at it. Well, what has been dramatically different in seconds now, if I know an idea or a thought like that, like, man, I can't just be a hearer, I got to be a doer. I know the concept. I could search that. What verse is that? It's going to immediately pull it up. And then it's going to go, if I go in Bible Gateway, and give me 20 to 25 translations in seconds. So then I can scroll through that and go, which one is the clearest way to communicate that truth? Now, what's interesting is, I just heard this recently from somebody else, is like people are asking, like, how do you know what translation of the Bible to use? Like personally. And are there any ones that are incorrect or
Not usable.
heretical?
Yeah. Strong
Okay.
word.
So, and there are. So, like, you go, well, what do you mean by that? Well, like, not hating on, but just a statement. Like, a Mormon Bible is not the same Bible as what you're looking at. So, it is a totally different look. So, when I go to Bible Gateway, they're not going to put a cult or an obscure version of Scripture on there. They're gonna give you
And even the Catholic Bible
the main line,
uses-
and the Catholic Bible just adds in the Apocrypha and things that
Maccabee, yeah.
weren't approved in the council on whatever back in the day to be able to say that we all universally agree to this. So what I try to do is avoid anything controversial, any translation that's super controversial, any way out there. I just try to stick in the main. And so when you look on there, all of these are universally accepted by all Christians that we're using, but although it might be a different phrasing or word, but the basic interpretation is the same. It just may be changed in the way that it's discussed or whatever.
Because Greek and Hebrew is written in different languages.
Yes.
They have different meanings of the words. And so, like, Eugene Peterson wrote The Message in the 90s, and his heart and desires, a great guy, I've talked about him before, was to help people understand the Bible better. So if you're starting to read the Bible, The Message is a great place to start. Bible Gateway, you can go on there and look at all of them if you want.
Yeah, and I say it's a great place to start, but the only difference is like on the Message, it is so different,
Right. It's
that
a paraphrase.
that you might not be able to understand where it's coming from.
Well, that was what I was going to ask.
So,
is
like, if the Message is a paraphrase, but it's a great, I use it occasionally because it really says it differently, but it is probably the most not in the box of whatever. There's another one called The Voice.
Yeah.
There's another translation called The Voice. They're all basically the same. It's just a little bit of a different take. So, you're right. When I'm looking at the verses, and sometimes I'll leave off something, like, in other words, I'll put ... at the end because the verse continues on. There's 2 reasons. One, it will be confusing to continue the thought. 2, it might be that it takes up too much room on the screen and you're not getting the main point. And then if there's another reason, it is that it is easier for all of us to take in less information instead of more. So it's not just confusing. It's like, I don't need
You're
more.
not screening the Bible. You're
right,
not like,
yeah,
hey,
right.
you need to know
yeah,
this
you're
part. Don't
trying to
read this next
drive.
thing.
Yeah, you're trying to drive a point home that goes, okay, I get it. Like whether that was encouragement or that we should be doing it instead of just listening to it. And they're all things you may have heard growing up. You're just trying to put it in an understandable way. But my favorite thing that we do is trying to find a video that correlates with the doing, not just hearing. So, for example, the ending when this past week with the guy with the truck, how many of us have made fun of somebody of something they're driving, and you're a hater, you're talking about it, you're making fun of it, like, oh my gosh, look at that guy or whatever it is, and then as a believer, you didn't even think to help the guy. So here's this other guy that's, I don't know if he's a believer or not because Steve don't tell us that, but goes, man, that's messed up. I'm going to solve the problem. So we have solved problems in the middle of our name as the church. But do I solve every problem? Am I burdened by? No, I mean, but then how cool is it when you see someone that is burdened to the level of going, I'm going to raise money for that guy, and I'm going to find him, and I'm going to buy him a truck he has no connection to. And here's this white guy doing it for this black guy, and in a culture where if you don't think that encouraging words and doing things, you heard him at the end go, man, God bless me. Like, the guy's like, I don't even know how to do this. And he's tearful. And I'm going, that's why you do it. That's why it's not just saying it. That's why it's, I believe that. Or it's like, no, it has to lead to the action. It
And
has
doing
to,
gets contagious, right? Because then he
Right.
gets the dealership, and they're excited.
Right.
And
And
it shows
they-
them giving
yeah,
the truck away.
Right. They're going to give away, And I just go back to, it's like, all of it's good. Like going to speak in front of these people this afternoon, whatever. It's part of what I got to do. But God, I hope that like when we leave, I hate speaking to speak. I hope that the speaking drives to action because it's pretty much a pointless deal. And I mean that in the most respectful way
Like
to
you're
all
just
preachers.
filling space.
It's just like, man, you could be doing something else.
Talk is cheap.
But if you could get them to go, all of us, me included, to go, I'm not just talking about it, you go out and do it. And as I said before, that's why, like, we got a bunch of women going to Honduras. How many times do people talk about making a difference and making a difference? Well, these ladies are walking away from their families. They're raising money. They're going to spend time. And you're gone. Your voice is gone again. Yeah, you
I think this mic.
there it is. So, but I'll just go back. They're doing it. They're living out what God's word is, and then it's one thing to preach it, to pray it, and that's what they said. It was the mayor's prayer breakfast, and I made a joke. I was like, we could pray in here all day if nobody walks out here and do nothing. We didn't do anything. So appreciate y'all gathering, but really, like, what difference does it make if you go and then you go out and you're hollering at a councilman, or you're ugly to a fireman or whatever, you're rude to your server. It's like, man, what are we doing here? So that to me is the hard part of Christianity. I mean, I had
Convicting.
Yeah, well, I had some people from they grew up going to the church that I grew up, and they were here yesterday. They're an older couple, and they don't come. And all I could think about whenever I was preaching is that I was about to get to the rock and roll section of all the different types of music and all that other stuff.
Man.
And all I could think about is like when they get to that point, they're probably like, what is happening? Because it was just using, like we did in the prison, just using a common
DJ
music.
Mixlicious.
Yeah, you're just trying to go, hey, but they've never seen or heard. And she later texted me that evening. She was like, that is something that I loved it. It was totally different, but it's for a purpose. It's to get you to think about it. It's to get you to look at it differently or see it differently. So
Courtney was very sad that there was not as much applause for the 90s and 2000s music that popped up on there.
The only thing I didn't put in there, I didn't think about till later, is I didn't put any country music in there.
Oh, that would have got a good reaction.
So I mean, we had Garth, but I mean, I didn't put that in the playlist of that little hype thing.
We got
But
some folks
anyway.
watching, got
Yeah.
questions. Eddie Taylor's very important question is, how have we not done Shake It Off by Taylor Swift for the Hater series?
Oh,
Oh man,
Swifty's going to be after you.
I would not say I'm a hater. I have just never been a Taylor fan. So I appreciate
They
it. 'Cause
take that as hate.
No, well, they probably do. So what I'll say is it's touche.
It was TLC this week, right?
That was
the song?
TLC. That was an
There you go.
old school remake of TLC, son.
It was some fun stuff. But then a more important, Matt Sanders, are you familiar with easy to read version? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I like them all.
Yeah.
Yes, I use Easy to Read, and then there's another one just called Easy.
easy to read is a common used translation down there in the middle school.
Yeah.
Because you're in that process. You know how
yeah.
it is. You're trying to figure it out and communicate. And
But it's
go
funny,
through it.
sometimes, that easy to read, you think, well, you just use that all the time. There are some times where the King James actually hits for them.
All right.
There's only been a few, but there's a couple times. So, it is, I've gotten on Bible Gateway and just give me all the translations. Let me read these up and down and see which one of these is going to work best. Because, with them, it's just, if they can, I always tell people, if they can just take away one thing out of the lesson every Sunday, I feel like I've accomplished my goal. I just want them to take away one little thing down there.
Well, and that's the goal. Is there's people that I taught in middle school, and this is here's the truth, and this is hard to really process. They won't remember anything you taught, but what they will remember is that you were teaching them.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
You showed up.
you were there, and so I think that it does go in them. In other words, the word does not return void. I'm doing air quotes for those not watching, because it is true, though. It's like when you're planting that in people, this is why, like, when you're raising your kids, Jordan, or like it's like you go, people say, why do I go to church? Because you're giving them truths that are set inside of them that at later points, God brings back up to them without you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not there all the time, you're not going to be there all the time. And the Holy Spirit is, and when you put the word in, it doesn't return void. It's going to have an outcome. It's going to be something good out of it. And the Holy Spirit will remind that child where they don't necessarily remember everything, but it just comes back in these pieces. So I go back to me. I mean, my mom took us all the time, and I didn't think I was going to be a preacher. I had no desire to be a preacher. But then I look back and go, man, I see where God was setting that up through hearing things and experiencing things and being a part of that. And if my mom had quit that, who knows what that would have happened? Surely God can do anything. But I look back and go, it was all instrumental in preparing you for what was going to happen. So even our kids, all of that's important, but they need to see you do it as much as they need to see you telling them to read it or experience it. It's like, man, they got to see you doing it. And that's why I was telling before, it's like going on trips or treating the server good or not letting politics rule your life, letting Christ rule your life. Like, we're in this big stage. My kids are in their 20s, so now they're looking at culture things going like, and I'm like, look, I don't really care about politics, so let's don't go there, but let's go back to where Jesus is. And they always kind of laugh, and they're like, I'm like, but dude, I'm not the preacher. I'm your dad. I'm just going like, let's get above that and then go back to how you should treat someone. So right now, unfortunately, it's like political things happen more than spiritual things. So it's kind of like, well, I'm doing that because of this. I'm like, no, there's a higher law. That's where it goes back to the scripture to understand, like, it's not about, like, a good example, MLK. So Martin Luther King Jr., you have a whole day, and there are people still to this day that disrespect what the man did. And I go, like, even if you don't, I don't, as a believer, understand how you can do that, because the man was reading scripture and in a time when nobody else was standing up and doing it at that level, and God gave him that platform, and it changed things. Is it where it needs to be? No. But what if he didn't do that? So they try to make it now, whether it's a right or a left or a this or a that. And I'm like, no. There's a spiritual level that God created all men equal. And we even wrote it in stuff, but we didn't do it. You have it written in things, but we didn't do it. But then it was almost like it became political. And I go, no, spiritually speaking. So like when I get to speak at a black church or whatever it is, I mean, it's awesome to me. It's the same thing. Like there were today, when I was speaking, there was a group of black people sitting there, and they were laughing and clapping with me. And I went after. I was like, man, thanks for encouraging or whatever. I'm like, man, of course, man, we love it. Thank you. What's going on? And I'm thinking, that is not about a black and white thing. That is about, man, I agree with you, and we're on the same team, and we're trying to push for the right thing. But I want to tell them, you're just as valuable as I am. There's no difference in us. But in our culture, doesn't always work out that way. And not too long ago, my early childhood years, that wasn't the way it was. So like I was at a predominantly white school, got bused to a predominantly black school. So my experience is different than all of y'all. Y'all are younger than me. It's different than well, if you go back to my parents, their experience was different. And then and I'm a white kid. If you go to Josh and you go to his mama, her experience is going to be different. But we would discount it. And I'm like, no, it's just as important and valid as mine. But then that we're able to, hopefully through younger generations, put Scripture as the guide, not a political party as the guide. You would understand we got to treat everybody the same, man. For God so loved the world, regardless of skin color, regardless of where you're from or whatever's going to go on. And that's not very popular. It depends on the time of year, depends on who it is. But I just have always and respected what Martin Luther King did and has continued to do. And I think about so many things of how it's connected to Shreveport that many people don't know. The I Have a Dream speech was done here first. He practiced it in downtown Shreveport, yes.
I did not know that.
And it's recorded, and that was like, as back then we call them sugar sticks. So you worked a message, and then he said the same message over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Where I have
like a comedy set.
Well, it's like because you didn't have social media,
Right.
You didn't have any way to record anything. You had to say consistently the same thing over and over again, and then people bought into that because over time the groups of people would understand that. But I go back and go, I can't imagine taking that burden on, and then to disrespect and go, he don't deserve a day and all this other kind of stuff that I heard, depending on who was going on. I'm like, it's not about that. It's about the fact of what he did to try to help. So I bring all that up just because we played a video before the service started, and I didn't go into it because of the hater series. I could have very easily just went down one road on that. And then again, I would have had haters. Because I can promise you, anytime it appears to be political and it's not, they're going to come out. They can't help themselves. They're going to make a comment or a statement or whatever. But I just respect what the guy really how he lived his life and what he did. And is he perfect? No. Did he get it all right? No. But man, he sure did. He did it.
A lot right.
He didn't just talk about it. I mean, he did it. He didn't just preach sermons. I mean, he did it. So
it's funny you mentioned earlier about people not remembering what you preach. There is a funny story with me and Evan back before he was. This had to be before.
I was an intern, for real.
Still over there.
19 or 20.
And I told Evan, like, this was right when I was coming on. He goes, I do remember you preaching once in front of us, and this would have been we were still in school.
You remember something I said?
Awesome.
A spiritual
like,
moment.
but do you know the only thing that I remember from that sermon was that he likes cheesy gordita crunches? That was the punchline.
That's the detail that stuck out. 15 years later,
got me to try the cheesy gordita crunch, and I also love the cheesy gordita crunch.
you
Taco Bell, we need a sponsor.
Something. That's right. Just like I remember going the fro for Mo Dough.
Yeah, like I could put so we could probably go into that, but probably shouldn't. But
Probably
me and
should.
Greg, back in I guess that was the 90s, would do middle school camp, and we had characters for fun. And I was DJ Mixlicious, that's why I brought it up.
Still
and it was a faceless DJ. So I put up a popsicle stick with a cutout, and I put it in front of my face like they didn't know who I was because it was a mystery guest every time. Ladies and gentlemen, it's DJ Mixlicious. Flipping the wax. And I would do the whole thing. And then I put your hands together for
alter
Ghetto Fabulous. And Greg was Ghetto Fabulous. And it was a crazy.
I'm changing his name in my phone.
Immediately. It was. And they got them kids laughing.
Loved it.
He put on genie pants, a wrestling belt, no shirt, an afro, glasses. It was crazy, but it was just cutting up and having fun. But it was that's middle school in the 90s. Totally different
That's
deal.
right.
You know,
Oh,
Fun
man.
times.
I might bring it back.
Might have to.
Go ahead. Grow
Might
that hair
have
out, though. You got to grow that fro out, bro.
Hey, man, I had dreads down to my shoulders.
Yeah, no, dreads, son. You got to have a fro. You got to
That's
have it
right.
where you can reach in there, you know?
But speaking of
That's a lot of
Josh, I
work.
was in church with him yesterday, and he laughed out loud when you pulled a Cat Williams clip in church.
Yeah.
He said,
Hey.
how's he going to do that?
Hey, I said watch Daddy work at
Well-
some of the hours. I said because that took some editing.
Well,
Promise
the funny thing is I know that entire set, and I was like, I know where he cut that off at.
Yeah, there you go. See, you know. But what I loved about
Hard
it, now interesting what's about Cat is it's very interesting. He's pretty strong in his faith. And he just uses a lot of bad language. But, I mean, what's fascinating to me is if you ever listen to – you could never do it because it's so bad. I mean, the language is really, really rough. But his points and some of the things it's really funny. And that's what
Was it
comedy
last year
is.
when he talked to Shannon Sharp? I listened to that.
Yes.
whole
yeah,
thing.
that's
almost a year ago.
That was
Yeah.
pretty wild.
And that was nuts. I'd never listened to him for that long. And
Yeah.
he's an intelligent guy.
Very intelligent.
Very intelligent guy.
Absolutely. All right, let's go some more positive things
Okay.
happening, like the Pickler grand opening. It's coming up here in our neighbors at the boardwalk, and we'd love for you to get invited to be here, Simple Church, on
Yeah.
February the 1st for an exclusive event. Tell us a
Well,
little bit about
hopefully
that.
we won't have the snow like we're having this weekend, right? We're not sure what we're going to do this weekend, by the way. If you're
That's what-
watching,
you want the backstage look? We don't know.
yeah, we're waiting to see if it comes in and snows hard or ices. We won't have church Sunday, so I'm giving you a heads up. But on February 1st, let's hope that it is, and they're going to give you a literal exclusive inside look. There's only one other group of people that get in before you, and it is the founders. So that first 200 that signed up for membership, they're going to let them have a night, I think, on the 31st.
You can stay before,
But
yeah.
then we're going to get in there on the 1st, and you can get a membership at a discounted rate only for that day. And that's just because we've helped them so much.
Lower
to
than
get to
anybody
this.
else, right?
Yes,
Yes.
it
So
will be.
You're going to
can't-
sign up if you're interested.
Yeah, I can't tell you the amount because that messes up everybody. But it will be available only on February 1st. And then we'll have a table in this building and then the other two buildings down the event center. But the main thing is go walk through it so you can see it and be positive. Like, most people don't understand. I have a video set up for this week that is very funny on pickleball because it goes from hater to lover in 5 stages, and it's a comedy video. Like,
There's some haters.
yes, and it's very funny because it's very true. But if you don't know anything about it, the one thing that I think is fascinating about that particular sport, it is community driven. So in other words, you can have conversation. It's social. It's not fast paced. You can hang out, and that's what's exciting about having it next to us. And it's the only indoor. We're not. It's never going to be hot. Never going to be cold. Never going to be wet. You get to go in there and play and enjoy it. Now, I don't know what the walk-up price is. Everybody keeps asking me if they don't want to be a member. They're working out all those details. Maybe by February 1st, we'll have that where we can announce it so you'll know if you're going to play a lot, which is the best way to spend your money. But what's incredibly impressive is millions of dollars are being spent next to us.
2 years of
Yeah,
talking
2
and
years of
negotiating
working it
and
out.
trying
And
to
they
come.
spent millions. And you will see it. It is high-level finish. It is nice. It is something you're going to be proud of. If somebody's coming in,
It's not a Spirit Halloween store. Just throw it
no,
up there.
yeah, it's like, and they're invested. It's you can do tournaments. You can do all
Youth
kinds of
leagues.
things. Youth leagues. It's a lot of great things, and I'm super proud that we were able to help make it happen. And you got great local owners making that happen too. These are not. It's a national franchise, but owned by local people. So in other words, it's not like some franchise that's outside of that. These people have a heart. Chris Phillips, Chris Elberson, they wanted to do something in this town to make it better, and they put their money where their mouth is, and it will be better. And it's one thing to talk about it. And whenever people are negative, it's so funny. It was like, you won't spend $10. They spent $2 million. Like it is like, so go appreciate that. Even if it's not what you do, it's like, man, I appreciate that somebody's making our city better. I mean, and if you complain that it's empty, which some people do, why would you complain when it's full?
When
Why don't
somebody
you-
shows up and
yeah,
does
and
something.
does something. So that's the cool
And
part to me is
it ain't
that
gonna be empty.
no, and already there's a lot of momentum. I have another big meeting tomorrow, another big meeting Thursday. So there's other things that are, and then when it happens, and that's what I keep saying, it will happen. Our words speak life. We're not speaking death over.
And you've been positive the whole time.
Yeah,
You've been a
I've
part
tried.
of the solution.
Now,
and trying to be in
privately,
there.
you may have to pray for me. I may
We all can do
I
that.
may have cussed a little more than I should have, and Angie needs grace because she's probably like putting up with me.
The brunt of
Depends
it.
on the day, but I try my best to really speak life over it and be positive. And it's not just for the boardwalk, for our whole city, all
Yes.
the way from live to
Amen.
chasing aces. Like chasing aces. Did we have a good time eating there? It was incredible.
Me and Evan went there this past
It's-
Saturday.
It's so go support
Monday.
it. Like
Or
go
Monday, that's right.
Yeah, I go. It don't matter whoever. I think Margarita. I go there live. Bojacks. I mean, I'm East Bank. I'm gonna go wherever to support everybody in our area because we all need that.
That's
And
right.
there's some great things happening here, and more is to come. I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a good thing. But you don't want to miss Pickler. February 1st, behind the scenes.
You don't
You're
sign up. You
backstage.
just show up that day, go to church, and then
Yep.
hang out after.
Yep, and then you can go see it. And
You
then
talked
the
about-
restaurant won't be open yet, but just to brag on Gabe, and Cabo Verde's out in South Shreveport. That's called Brian. It is an incredible restaurant. He's an incredible chef. They're working out all the details. They hope it'll be open by the end of the month, end of February, but they're delayed on a couple of pieces of machinery that they were ordering. But then you're going to have brunch down here to go eat
So
breakfast
it's not
before
a Cabo
church?
Verde, but he's
no,
the chef
he's
that does
creating
it.
his
He's
own
the
brand
restaurant.
for this that's going to be
Exclusive in
unique and
Pickler at the
special.
boardwalk. So a new restaurant at the boardwalk already with
Yep.
that
Yep.
and more stuff
Yep.
coming.
And then again, don't forget Saltgrass is down there. Keep going down there and supporting them. We're close to hopefully some good news on that. We're working.
That's right. But shout out John Dudley. Josh and I try to put our money where our mouth is. We saw they were doing a putt-putt tournament, so we took our kids out Monday.
That's
The
awesome.
weather was perfect. It was a great time. It was probably 40, 50 people showed up. He was just sitting there smiling. He came out and
Right.
greeted us. He's like, this is awesome.
This is
And
I'm
like,
salty.
thanks, John,
I'm
for
salty
doing it.
because we didn't win, but it's fine.
You were the beat us out of our
so.
groups.
And just to brag on John Dudley, you got a putting green, you got a 9-hole outdoor real course, then you got the
and it
driving
looks
range.
fantastic. That's the first time I've done the putt-putt.
You got the
It's
indoor baseball. You got so many things are going on. So yeah, be positive.
something
baby.
to do. Something
Be
for
Yeah,
the
and
positive.
family,
that
with
Chase and
kids.
Ace facility. Every time I go over there, I'm still in shock. It's extremely nice.
Yes.
As a
And
avid golfer myself,
And as beating you in every game you played last time, I would like to just say,
I was wondering if you're going to bring that up.
I think, what was your record when
There
we
were
played?
4 of us.
There were 4 of us.
Everyone won.
And how many did you win
Except-
as the?
when's the FCA tournament? I'm gonna put this to bed right now.
Hey, I'll ride your coattails. Me and Brad's are gone. I'm the former fire chief. The one thing we went and played in our we do NFL draft golf trip. Everybody, whoever wants to go. Y'all, we have a good time. But me and Brad played together, and he drove, and then I was a 9-iron in. We were unstoppable. There was nobody. I could put it within 2 or 3 feet every time, but I cannot drive the ball. So I'd be like, Brad, drive it down there, and I'll get it close to the pin, son.
Found a good partner.
It's fun. It's fun.
That's
A lot of
awesome.
fun.
So Chasing Aces, Pickler, we want you to be a part of that. February 1st coming up. And then let's just end on another positive. Snack bags. They
Oh,
did
yeah,
it
it's
again
awesome.
this week. I mean, it's almost kind of like, but it's incredible that people
It is.
every time show up and fill hundreds and hundreds of these bags.
Yeah,
give their
1,200,
money.
isn't it?
I think that's right.
1,200
yeah.
meals.
It's kind of settled at that now.
Yeah.
It kind of fluxes, but
Yeah.
every semester to go and give it to kids in local schools, to take them home on the weekend. And if you don't do it, they don't get them. The kids just
Yeah.
don't have anything.
And again, you can talk about stuff. It's a whole lot better when we're doing it. So I'm very proud that we actually had a lot of people participate.
The line was out the building
raised the
at
money.
the end of 11
they
o'clock
got it all
yesterday.
done. So it's just a good thing, and that's the positive. It's like there's just a lot more to do that. So, and I told them $5 in 5 minutes changed the kids' world. I will also say, if you're going out to eat, you can do the same thing for somebody. Imagine a server, and I could go back to my daughter. Okay, sometimes she's working for Bojack's, and there's some weeks she just don't make any money. I know that burden on her. So you can imagine when you can help someone. So, just go beyond the snack bags and then go back to, no, what about that server that's a single mom that's feeding her family? So they can get a snack bag, but giving them an extra few dollars and a kind word can even extend their family and go, man, this is cool. The lady checking out at the grocery store or whatever it is, somebody came up even this past weekend, was just super kind in their words and tried to hand me some money, you know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting here thinking, they were like, that's not for the church. We want it for you or whatever. You got to understand, all of us have that availability to bring somebody's day up. And sometimes it's an extra $5. Sometimes it's buying that extra. If you go to the Circle K or whatever, hey, man, I got yours. Come on.
It's the widow's mite, right? It's
Yeah,
not the
and you
amount,
don't
it's the
know.
heart.
And there's people look so confused. But imagine if you create a culture that is the vibe, then, boy, things can drastically change. So those kids know they're loved when they get that. Well, you can also extend that way beyond just even on a Sunday morning and packing the bags, man. Go to teachers. Love on teachers as well, What
They
you
need
got?
it.
You're laughing about something. Something came up, Evan. I saw your face.
That's it. David Kruger's watching at my house with my child right now, my in-laws, and he said, "Do you want parsley on your garlic bread?" Because they made dinner for us with my wife out of town. So thank you.
Hey,
Dave.
Krug. Yeah. Do you want parsley or
I'm
not?
pro parsley. I'm for it.
I'm anti.
That's right.
Hey, I'm coming for dinner.
Thanks for commenting. Thanks for listening there, watching with us on Facebook. If you're just listening to the audio version, join us on Mondays. Grace Schuler said Scott Odom loved a Spirit Halloween store.
Yeah, he did. Very good.
That's right.
point.
Charlotte Gomez too.
Well,
Randy.
and Charlotte them made their money off of
Yeah.
that. That's how
Oh,
they
yeah.
lived. Her and Steve
Absolutely.
did a great job
Did
at
not
it.
mean to besmirch Spirit Halloween stores,
Yeah,
but this
well-
is a permanent, long-term
Oh,
investment.
sure. Well, and I go back to, we have the power, literally, through your words, to determine what our cities and what our communities will be like, just like you do in your family or in your office. If you're negative and you stay negative and you're a hater and you live in hate, you will never
And you
overcome.
post-hate.
Yeah, you won't. And so I go back to Martin Luther King Jr. Hate will never win. Love is the only thing that's going to win. So we're going to get into that coming up in the next few weeks. And you go, well, that's just a statement. No, show me where that's not true, though. Where does hate win? But yet we continue to battle that because I think the enemy knows. And I'm just as guilty,
And
so
it's
I'm saying
easier.
it. Yes.
And we feel better. It's quick, and you respond and you move on.
And as Erwin McManus said a couple of weeks ago in that message, you feel powerful when the reality is it's a weak place to stay. You know, it really is. So hopefully we can work to keep making our communities better, investing in our communities, in our people, in our schools, in our teachers, in our churches, in whatever, way beyond just the walls of a church, obviously, but we can get there. And then please keep your eyes open. Look around. Lift somebody up today.
Talk is cheap.
It is. Find some way to put a smile on somebody's face.
That's a great note to end on. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, joining us on Backstage with the Simple Church podcast. Each week, we'd love for you to join us and be back next week. Bye-bye.
Peace.